theme. Okay, what's all this stuff we're looking at here? Well, proof that I'm a nerd, but that's beside the point. We're looking at Sully Gnome starting out with Asmongold 90-day stats, so quarterlies essentially for streamers. And what we have on the Excel side of things is the numbers we used for the last show last night, just with a few revisions. So over here, we have the quarterlies for Q1 of 2020, encompassing how well these platforms did for during basically the quarantine, unless you count January or something like that. So the boost from quarantine is part of these numbers. And if we look at hours watched, it is little wonder why Twitch caught the eye of the RIAA, especially when they were doing all this, hey, look, we've got all this music going on, woohoo! So, but we've had that discussion, we've done that discussion to death. So, the situation here is Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and there's itty-bitty Mixer with only 81 million hours. Now, the thing with Mixer, again, is Mixer is tied into the Xbox ecosystem, so console streaming and whatnot, where it's just someone streaming the game as they play it, could be boosting either of these numbers. And just the integration of the console might make either of these numbers bigger than they actually are. But assuming they're all legit, Mixer is a terrible place to stream. Because if you want people to come watch you, the ratio of streamers versus viewers is the worst out of all the platforms by a wide margin. Facebook right now is aggressively growing, and you can see this. If you use Facebook, you'll actually see ads all over the place in your feeds for various game streamers right now as they very aggressively try to grow their platform. But the ratio that Facebook has right now makes it probably the best place to stream, even though you're going to be limited to 720/30 when you're getting started. But look at this. Only 4.9 million hours streamed for 553 million hours watched. Now keep in mind, you don't want to be doing copyrighted music on Facebook or anything because they have algorithms just like YouTube does. They're just not as developed. And oftentimes, Facebook has been the butt of jokes about how crude some of these systems were. Like, for example, a video that plays like 5 or 6 times in your feed as you stop scrolling and you just leave it there, counting as 5 views instead of 1, little stupid stuff like that. Facebook is also where I have seen unskippable mid-roll ads. So, on itty-bitty videos. Somebody's 20-second video in my feed has a 30-second unskippable mid-roll ad. That's where I've seen the stupid version of stuff that I've fortunately never seen on YouTube. So, yeah, Facebook and YouTube are big social media platforms that aren't just about, primarily streaming. And so they have algorithms and other technical systems going besides the rude, crude, and perhaps lewd to some people, strike down everybody who does any DMCA-able stuff. So there is no alternate monetization option. I'm sure Twitch will be rolling one out very shortly. So that leaves Mixer as the last of the big four by a wide margin. The question is, how much Twitch traffic would have to defect to Mixer before Mixer in the watched category became any kind of target? They got big enough that the RIA is like, you know what? They're a bigger fish now. Let's go after them. As opposed to being the minnow that they currently are right now with those watch. This is in millions too. So watch versus streamed. We talked about watch versus stream, the ratio. But what matters is this 81.4 right here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use Sully Gnome. We're going to start with Asmongold, of course. Great guy though he is with his World of Warcraft streams and stuff. We're going to do some numbers here. We're going to assume a Twitch's worst nightmare situation. We're going to assume a Twitch's worst nightmare situation. That hardcore fans, aka roughly the amount of average viewers they've had in the last 90 days, are watching these streamers for 8 hours a day, and they all decide to defect, and all these big streamers that I have down here defect to Mixer. So this isn't saying anything about any of these streamers. I'm not trying to speak on behalf of them. This is all a giant what if. But I have all these big streamers whose names I recognize punched in here. I'm going to punch in some fans they would take to Mixer times X hours per day to give us our daily watch hours. And then once we sum that all up, we're going to do times 30 for a month and then times 3 for a quarter and then divide by 1 million to get a number in millions and see how many streamers have to go over to Mixer before this starts becoming before Mixer becomes a bigger target. So we're going to add a fourth column in here because I have the results over here, but I want to put them on screen instead. So see, we're going to do Mixer ++, and we're going to make that green to match over here, the Streamer Revolt color. We're actually going to use Format Painter, and let's go over here and let's do Mixer ++ and have this be the color, and same thing here, and we'll also do this. All right, so we're gonna end up with Mixer ++. We'll start punching in some numbers after we punch things in for Asmongold. So start with Asmongold. So Sully Gnome, he's around 40 grand. Let's assume he brings an audience of 40,000 people over to Mixer. We'll make him the first in this revolt thing here. So he brings 40, and remember, these numbers are probably going to be a lot higher than what they would actually be, but I want to assume a complete nightmare situation for Twitch, that changing into a platform with more gotchas and more of these copyright systems just completely drives people off the platform. There's probably near zero chance of this happening in real life with all these streamers, but just to have fun and play what if with this sort of thing, let's punch some things in here. So, Asmongold takes. Can we get a comma in here? Can we format cells and do something? Let's do numbers. Let's do no decimal places and put 1,000 separator in there. Let's make it look like it does on Twitch. So, Asmongold sends 40,000 fans over to Mixer. Equals, take this, multiply by 8 hours a day, and make that an absolute reference. Yep. Let's see here and here. So. And let's also format that the same way for the results. So he brings 320,000 watch hours a day. So let's do a sum here. Total daily watch hours equals sum. We're just going to do this up in advance. So we're going to start from here, and we're going to go all the way down the list. Got a bunch of big names on here, and I just got to update this formula. If I decide to go any further with this. All right, so there's 320,000 watch hours. Now, let's take this, and let's multiply, kind of hard to see my keyboard because the screen's so bright, times 30. And let's format it the same way. 9,600,000 watch hours, and then equals this times 3 for a 3-month quarter. 28.8 million. Now let's divide that, equals this divided by 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to bring it over to 28.8. So now let's go off to the side here and let's add that 20. The bonus from the Streamer Revolt equals this 28.8. And then the Mixer after the Streamer Revolt is this plus this. So Asmongold alone brings it to 110. But remember, Facebook is at 500. So we're just going to see, we're going to watch this number slowly get bigger. We're going to watch this number slowly get bigger, and we're going to see just how, whoops, and we're going to see some of these, still getting used to this brand new mechanical keyboard. We're going to see just how close these come together here. All right, so our revolt so far brings Mixer up to 110.2, but they need to hit 500 to get up around Facebook or so. So let's pick another streamer here. So let's see. Let's add Pokimane into the mix. Let's add another big streamer who does 5 digits up for the most part. Search for a gamer channel, Pokimane. What's her 3-month average for the last 3 months? 26,070. So it's higher than I thought it would be. Let's give her 25,000 fans that cross over. Let's give her 25,000 fans to do rounder numbers and stuff like that. Cross everything over here. Now we're talking 200,000 daily watch hours. We've brought it up to 128.2. So you see these... Whoops, that's S-fan. Wrong column. Cut. Put it down here. There we go. Not going to change the number, but not going to change the number here. Dr. Disrespect. What's he got for this? Dr. The name is Dr. What? There he is. Hey, what's this alt thing with a bunch of underscores? The doc. There we go. 29. No, okay. You know what? Never mind. Go back to Pokey here. Let's just do 26 grand. Quit being an idiot. Let's just take it down to significant digits. So let's do this. Now for the dock. Actually, you know what? Let's do format paint all of this. So we don't have to keep doing this every single person here. This here, and likewise, do this. Format paint all the way down to the bottom. So we got all these names here. So we're going to watch this number slowly creep up as we continue to punch these numbers in here and see at what point does Mixer start looking interesting to the RIAA because they're approaching what Facebook has, what YouTube has, or what exactly is their total potential. So we assume Pokimane brings 26,000 fans who watch 8 hours a day. Some of these people don't even stream 8 hours a day. So that's really how synthetic this whole thing is. So the doc, 29, let's give him 29 grand on average. So let's bring this over here. What does the doc get the number up to? 68.4 added up gets into 149.8. So we still have a long way to go. Oren Plays. Let's do this one. Yeah, let's do this channel here. Oren Plays. Let's see. I'm curious why this guy's numbers are so. Wait a minute. Oren Play. It's this guy. There we go. It's kind of like a Let's Play channel. I put the S on the end. Let's do this. 74,588. So we bring some. I think he's. Yeah, he streams in Spanish. So I don't know if it's a situation where he's big in a market or something like that. I'd never been able to figure out Oren's numbers and why they're so high. But let's see here. I don't know if it is a thing with catering to that specific language market versus other folks on Twitch. But we'll just say he's bringing over 70. Let's round down to 74,000 because we know the crossover won't be completely what it could be. What happens if I copy the formula all the way down? I get a bunch of zeros. Okay, why don't we just take the formula all the way down then? Take this. Take the corner box, let's just take this all the way down. Instead of having to keep doing this. Now, is this all the way it's supposed to be? Yeah. Good. 592, now we're up to 203. So, yeah, a couple of big folks can move the needle, but now we're running out of steam here because Summit's really our last big name. We could add some more in here as well. Hackcheck is enabled? I gotta check that out. Let's add Summit in here. Average 46 grand. We'll put him in at 46. We're not going to round. We're not going to round up here. Let's see here. Summit at 46 grand. Wow. Just chatting, huh? I think, no, that's Valorant. He was very heavily affected by the Valorant beta. So yeah, these numbers are actually higher than what they would actually be. But 46,000 adds even more numbers and brings us up to 236.2. So already we're seeing, if the right streamers went over, they'd remain smaller. But once the big guys went over, yeah, we start seeing some things start to get a bit closer to where maybe, but still, Mixer is in last place. Now let's start filling everyone in, going down the entire list, top to bottom. We've dealt with the big names. Let's start with SFan TV, very respected WoW streamer who's been averaging about 4 grand the last 3 months. That brings us up to 239.08. Mizkif. I know he's doing a lot of Mario 64, so he'll probably have some kind of 5-digit number. If he doesn't, I'll be very surprised. As soon as Sully loads here. 7705, okay. I've been catching him on his better nights. We'll give him 7,700. 244.624. Trainwrecks TV. Trainwrecks is very interesting. Even though I don't agree with the guy very much, he has some interesting numbers to watch. You can see the effect of game streaming versus what he does with his more commentary-themed stuff, as well as the Scuffed podcast, causing spikes every Thursday on his channel. Trainwrecks is a really cool guy to watch numbers on, because you can see the difference that multiple types of content can have on a channel. I would consider him a variety streamer at this point, even though he plays shooter games like Call of Duty and stuff like that. But just he does gaming, his commentary. I bet there's a lot of people that watch him just for his recap because they like who he is as a commentator. And that's something I'd recommend to all these big streamers who do recap is, look, if you're establishing a following that loves to see you do recap, they're liking you as a commentator. Start making that content on purpose and chiming in on stuff that people are interested in you chiming in on. That's basically the descendant of the vlogging that built YouTube, where people want to hear other people's opinions, and there's plenty of people out there with plenty of opinions, so you might as well give them. Trainwrecks, we're going to bring him in at 6,600. Not going to do too much. Probably not going to do too much with anything besides hundreds here. So, but Train, yeah, he's got something interesting going on with his numbers because he does multiple types of content. So if you know when he does which specific type of content, you can really see just how a variety streamer can be on here with the stuff that he does, even if you're like me and you very sharply disagree with him on some of his key issues. Ginny, coming off of the whole 3 months with S-Fan thing, but still doing all right in her own respect. Actually, a lot of what happened with Ginny reminds me of PewDiePie in his early days. PewDiePie, one of the big reasons why he became what he is because he's lived in several different countries where he's grown a fan base there on the YouTube side of things. So that helped him with the algorithm when, hey, it helped him fill out the algorithm a little when, oh yeah, PewDiePie is this guy that folks in lots of different countries know. So Ginny coming to America and staying with S-Fan, and the two being introduced to each other's countries as fan bases and cultures and things like that. I thought it was pretty awesome. So I thought it was pretty awesome. And I'll still tune in every so often to her stream now that she's back in Korea because I'm night shift. So I'm on the East Coast. So take PM, flip it to AM, etc., and add an hour. So it's not hard for me to catch whatever she's doing for lunch that day because that's roughly the time I get home from work. Yeah, apparently being a night owl runs in my family as well. Whoa, this thing's leaking. The hell? That's never happened before. What I have to do? Get some plumber's tape for a water bottle? Whatever. Okay, so we'll say Ginny brings a solid 5,200 to the table. What are we up to for numbers here? 253. So we're just filling out this list and we're having a hard time catching up to Facebook, much less YouTube or Twitch. But Facebook already has algorithms. So the question we have to ask is, would Mixer start rolling out advanced copyright tools or stuff like that, similar to Facebook, if that were to be the case? So, well, actually similar to YouTube. Facebook's kind of following after YouTube in that respect. YouTube has the most mature technology, but they often have too much of it. Okay, so let's get some controversy in on the action. Alinity. Hello, Alinity. Hope your cat's doing okay. Whatever. I don't get caught up in her drama too much because I think a lot of it's overblown. For the numbers she has, 2,500, I really think she shouldn't be pestered as much as she is. So, but that's another discussion altogether. Averaging 2,500 average viewers, we'll say she contributes 2,500 to this exodus to Mixer. Amaranth is probably around 3 grand. Again, these big names with the controversy over, oh, they're pretty, that's why their streams are successful. No. So, there are streamers who don't do this stuff that could be considered riding someone else's coattails that average more concurrent viewers. So I think some of the hatred towards some of these streamers is a little overblown. So 3,100, we'll say she brings 3,100 to the table. 257. So again, all right, let's do another kind of controversy here. Mitch Jones. I've seen a couple of the streams he's done with Ms. Kiff and their Mario 64 speedruns. 3,600. Let's bring another big name in here that I forgot earlier. Nick Merckx. Learned about the guy from wanting to see what the heck Fortnite was all about and why everybody was so obsessed with it. 27,000. Another big name here. He brings that to the table and we're up to 279. So again, even with all of these big streamers assuming a massive defection to Mixer, we're still looking at 279. As a matter of fact, let's drop this down to 1 decimal place and use 1,000 separator if we ever... No, actually we don't need it. There we go. 279.2 to make the number look similar to what's going on the other side, or on the other platforms here. So another big one. Let's add Pro Jared to the mix. Wasn't he on YouTube at one point? I think I might have seen some of his stuff. Okay, he's a 3. We'll just do 300. We're going to bring in some people that are only in the hundreds on average now, so they're barely going to move the needle. But hey, a couple of names that I'm familiar with. Matter of fact, let's add Krendor to the list. Yeah, Mr. Wow Krendor himself. Let's add, there's another name that I recognize here. I know he only does hundreds, but heck with it. I'll bring this down another notch and make sure that the formula for the total goes down to 40 now. It does not. E17 to E40 now. And we'll add him to the list as well, as I've seen some of his other... And, wait a minute, wasn't there a Final Fantasy guy that I kept an eye on? I forgot his name. So, he gets about 1,000 per stream. So, really what we want to be focusing on, but let's get some other names in here as well. Let's bring in the Heller Nash crowd here, beginning with Harris. 3-month average is these guys are like 700 to 800. So 696. All right, let's be nice to the small guys and give them 700. Devin Nash. About 700 to 800, I think. Or was it 5 to 6? These guys are close. Okay, we'll give them another 700. Now, XQC. XQC. It's not XQC Cow? What? No. Okay, what's his channel? We'll have to do homepage for this. I forgot. XQCOW. All right, let's just click that. Everyone calls him XQC, but he's got this AOL type name with characters all wacky and stuff. 35 grand. So after XQC gets factored in, we're at 305. So we're approaching what Facebook is at. But it takes a lot of big streamers in order for that to happen. Let's add Greek to the mix. Okay. Guy has a little bit of fun with some of those selfie apps or something like that. Give him 5,600. Linus Tech Tips. Saw him show up on Twitch and I was like, what's he doing here? He's over on YouTube. Oh, Linus Tech. There we go. What's Linus doing? I don't know how long he's been streaming, but he's already about 1,500-ish. A little bit of crossover from a highly successful tech YouTube channel, but live streaming has different kinds of numbers. Let's see. Hassan. Hassan, I saw him in the list. There we go. 7988. Should we give him 8 grand? No, let's be mean. 7,900. Watch that extra zero. Tim the Tatman. Tim the Tatman. Tatman. There we go. Let's see what we've got here. 35,959. Let's just give him 35,000. So now that brings up to 341. So even with all these big names, we're still not, we're approaching Facebook, but slowly. All right, soda poppin'. Next. Try not to misspell that as soda poopin' or something. Somebody probably has that name anyways. 17,000. Lord Kabun. I know his channel from GTA RP and trying to figure out what the heck it's all about. It's interesting what people are doing with Grand Theft Auto 5 these days because of all the integration features in the multiplayer. So it's just, all right. 13. All right. Hold on a second. Let me look up something in a different browser. I don't have Microsoft Edge in this new template yet, so let me just pop something open here. Basically, Paladin FF14. Who is the guy that does those things? Larry Czar. That's who. Let's add Larry to the list. He's a Final Fantasy 14 streamer. Larry Czar. There we go. He also does YouTube videos, some funny YouTube videos about classes in Final Fantasy 14 and stuff. So now we got to bring this up to E41 for the range of that sum. We'll definitely add him into the list as well. And of course, we'll bring the formulas down as well. Krendor, how's he doing these days? I remember him from the World of Warcraft days and stuff like that. So he's around the 300 or so. We'll give him 300 viewers here. And let's see, how's Larry doing? Yeah, there we go. Switch over, give him 600. So, all these names with streaming. All these names with streaming. And let's see here. Let's just go over to Simplified Analytics. Let's just go to my Twitch channel just to be redundant. Pause. Close chat. Close chat as well. Hey, look at this. It's got a thing for how long you've been streaming as well. As well as, hey, nobody likes me except Stream Elements. Whatever. So anyways, what we could do is we could just blow this up now to full size and have it reflect on the screen. And let's elevate that so that Excel is on top. But not the webcam. Let's keep the webcam. Actually, let's move the webcam over to the side. Webcam, click. Over to the side I go. Okay, so now Excel is full-sized, and we can see results after the streamer revolt and stuff. So, all these big names, assuming a mass defection, all these streamers with hundreds or thousands or even tens of thousands of fans, assuming a massive defection, 8 hours a day, all those people, it would bump Mixer up to 363.9. And it would be a nightmare situation for Twitch. Or would it? Would it really be a nightmare situation for Twitch? Because the way Twitch works is it's got a hierarchy for everything. It's a split between algorithms and a hierarchy. So all this talent leaves, somebody else would just be promoted to the top, and maybe they might be encouraged to make their show a little better or their streams a little better because now they're on top because all this other big talent has left the platform. So in terms of exposure, especially with the traffic going to Twitch, it would be a boon for all of these streamers that currently are below all these big names on here. If, say, there was a mass exodus or something like that, if they wanted to make their stream a little more copyright friendly. So here's the situation that we have. So we have all these folks, assuming a hardcore fan base watches them 8 hours a day. Some of these folks don't even stream 8 hours a day. But even with all of this, Mixer, with Mixer++ here, is only 363.9. They're not catching up to Facebook. All this talent, changing platforms, and all these people following them. Now, how does this change if we go down to 7 hours a day? 328.5. 6 hours a day, 293.2. 5 hours, 257. 4 hours. So how about 10 hours? Say they're mega streamers. That might bring them into the 4s, but they're still not catching up to Facebook, much less YouTube or Twitch in terms of all of that stuff that's going on. Have I made my point clear enough? Why now?